Welcome to All Things Social Security. My name is Stephanie Joy of Joy Disability. I am a Social Security disability attorney, and I would like to invite you to watch our daily video tips on the Social Security disability and SSI claims process each day at the new time of noon Eastern Standard Time here on YouTube on this channel. And on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have our live Q&A live stream. So you are welcome to join that as well. Ask your questions, get there on time, and you'll be one of the first answered. Thanks so much and have a great day. Enjoy the video. Hey guys, happy Sunday. Hope you had a great week. Hope you had a great weekend. It's getting colder for sure. We are going to have a Social Security Sunday roundup for the week of the one that just passed, of course. Looks like November 3rd. That would be Monday to yesterday, November 8th. All right, so let's get to it. So on Monday, we had a little ditty about transferable skills. What are they? You hear about them all the time. They're very important when it comes to the grids. So it's definitely something you want to be aware of if you're 50 or older, okay? Because it's something you have to conquer. On November 4th, these were some do's and don'ts about preparing for hearing. And I think there's like a two-parter with that. So it might be like a Q&A from one of the live streams and then some additional information that's been tagged on that makes it a little more clear if you wanted more information about that. And you know that we do have a playlist about ALJ hearings if you wanted to see more of that. On Wednesday, we had our live stream Q&A as always at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That was pretty great. I love seeing you guys. It's just fabulous. And I love the questions. But we also had our 12 o'clock regular daily. And that's where I'm going to mention it. This was a little a clip from my collaboration with Jonathan Ginsburg the other day when we talk a little bit about the work history report and some pointers on that. And I'm pretty sure I tagged on some more information about work history report. It is very, very important report and it stays in your file. So through all the levels of adjudication. And also sometimes if you have to file again, they'll look at your old one. So you want to be aware of that. Thursday, we came out with the replay of the live stream from Wednesday without all of the silent moments in there still. So if anyone's watching the replay, you don't have to sit through all that downtime. It might not be so terrible when you're in live stream and just kind of hanging out, chatting with the crowd, but otherwise on a replay, it just wouldn't be the same. So that's taken out. And that did come out timely. YouTube's doing a really good job of late processing these 2-hour shindigs in a timely fashion. Friday, of course, was the fraud law review. And this particular one was it actually was reported a few weeks ago, but as you know, I'm guessing the reason why they're not reporting right now is because of the shutdown, and it's certainly not an essential need, like continuing the flow of working on all your cases, all of you fine people. So I'm glad they shut it down. And hopefully they'll start it back up later when they get their budget under control with Congress, who of course is holding up everything terribly. Anyway, this one was about a Poland couple who lives in Maine, and they defrauded the SSA and Maine welfare for 10 years. And I guess my bigger point about this one was the slap on the wrist they both got. That's Maine for you. Maine's really gone downhill, hasn't it? So anyway, I guess it's crime pays is the end result of that. Then yesterday, we had a little tip about anxiety's impact on your SSD claim and how, if you suffer from it, which I would almost think almost everybody with disabling impairments enough to really not be able to work, like by and large, almost everybody who applies, if that anxiety does certain minimal limitations to your concentration and such, which by definition, I think it does. This goes into a little bit of how you want to use that, when it's going to be most important. And that was it, guys. That was the week. Hope you had a good one. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. Hope it's peaceful and meaningful, and be safe for the rest of the week until I see you next time. And I'd love to see you at Wednesday's live stream, so 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks, guys. Have a great week. It's still Sunday. Did you miss last week's Social Security roundup? Not this week that you just heard, but the one prior to that, and want to catch up? I'm attaching it now. Have a great day. Bye. Hey guys, happy Sunday. I hope everyone had a great weekend and a great week. Let's get started. This is the Sunday Social Security roundup for the week of October 27th, the week right behind us. 27th through November 1st. Can you believe we're at November? Don't I say this like every week? I'm like, can you believe we're in mid-July already? Anyway, it seems like it goes so fast. All right. So here's what we had last week in case you missed anything and any of these things strike your interest or something you might need. October 27th, Monday, we had a little discussion about the awesome, I called it a treasure, when you have a supportive doctor in your camp, a treating doctor who is supportive of your Social Security disability or SSI claim. And when I say supportive, I don't mean that they are necessarily even writing a letter, because I have some concerns about letters when the person doesn't really know what the nuance is of what your particular case, which is very fact specific, would require in terms of a medical opinion on certain functional capacities and limitations, symptoms, and such. So I'm not really speaking directly that they're writing a letter and trying to wing it, but otherwise supportive. Because when you have a supportive one, then the records will probably be more reflective of your actual limitations and symptoms. And I'm just talking about the whole video right now. If you had a representative who knows what they're doing and knows what kind of questions, the very narrowed questions about your case they'd want to ask the doctor's going to be more likely to answer those questions. Because as you might know, a lot of doctors won't fill out forms. And if they do, it's usually not to your benefit. Okay, that was Monday. Tuesday the 28th. What do we have here? Yeah, it was another discussion on the timing of your SSDI or SSI application. Super, super important. Whether you should be filing right away, can be filing right away, or whether holding back a little bit and getting a little composure and some certain things in order first, and that some of the more natural reasons why you might hold off for a better strategy and a better likelihood of winning on initial or recon. Touch on that. That's not the only such video on that whole area. Wednesday, the 29th, came up about a person who was prescribed physical therapy and couldn't afford it because the copays were really high. And we go over that a little bit, just some of the thoughts and possible options and things to consider. And I know it's really tough. And I've found some people who thought they couldn't and then they could do it. So we just touch on a few things, and some of the priorities one might want to consider when they're feeling that way. On Thursday, so also on Wednesday, by the way, we had our live Q&A live stream, all things Social Security. My friend and colleague Jonathan Ginsberg participated, which was super because our schedules usually totally conflict. And that was great. And that came out as a replay with all the delays in reading and all those kind of things cut out of it. So it shortens it up a tad. So if you're a replay person and not a live stream person, you don't have to sit through all that stuff, which is probably far more annoying if you're watching a replay than if you're in the actual room with everybody at the time. So that was Thursday. Friday was, of course, the fraud law review, and this one concerned an Israeli man in New Jersey who scammed over $3 million from the payroll protection program that was laid out right when COVID started or shortly thereafter. And he was yet another scammer of that whole thing. Pathetic, bad, bad, bad. But he was caught, so that's good. And then yesterday, November 1st, this was a review of the basics of the concept of transferable skills in the sequential evaluation process and how you have to think of them. And in the end, it's very important when it comes to your work history report. And so a sloppy work history report where you don't really know what the meaning of all these things are can lead to an actual denial because you will have transferable skills that you can then take to a different job. So we try to hit on that a little bit. That's been coming up a lot lately, so you might see another video or two in the near future. All right, so that's it, kids. November 2nd, and that was our week's videos for the past week. And anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday, peaceful and meaningful. And I will hopefully see you at our 12 o'clock pre-recordings that come out every day when I flip something out there, and our weekly 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live stream. Alrighty, I will talk to you later. Have a great week, guys. Be safe.